Ya tienes el micrófono abierto.
Hola, ¿qué tal, César?
Claro.
¿Me escuchas?
Sí,
Te acabo de hacer una por WhatsApp, pero entré aquí por Zoom a hacerlo personalmente, de que tiene un tiempo acá que entré a este curso, pues, de todo esto del autoconocimiento, autoindagación, y como tú dices, se abre la caja de Pandora, surgen los miedos, y me he dado cuenta que, o sea, cómo es el cuerpo, el hábito mental de la autoidentificación con el cuerpo-mente, que el cuerpo empieza a temblar por algún miedo o hábito, pero al momento de que está el miedo y como que no hay, ¿qué se podría hacer? Aunque se sabe que es una ilusión tratante,
tienes
como
problema,
de, como de
tienes problema con la conexión de internet y se entrecorta lo que dices. Capto más o menos la idea, pero no.
ajá. Que, que por ejemplo cuando surge miedo que surja, la mente se embota y como que es difícil autoindagar ahí cuando está el cuerpo temblando, está tenso, nervioso, rígido, estresado. Por ejemplo, ¿qué hacer en esos momentos que el miedo surge?
Sí, primero que nada, la indagación no es algo que haces cuando te sientes mal, o solo cuando te sientes mal, como cuando tomas una pastilla, tomas una aspirina solamente cuando te duele la cabeza. La indagación es un hábito que hay que desarrollar hasta el punto que debe hacerse básicamente 24 horas al día.
Sí,
Indagación consiste en ver quién siente todo eso, quién experimenta todo eso, en llevar la atención
ajá,
de la experiencia al experimentador, de lo conocido al conocedor, del
sí, sí.
pensamiento al pensador, muy tranquilamente, simplemente llevar la atención.
Sí, sí, de hecho ya sé que son 24 horas al día, pero yo digo, cuando ¿cómo te explicara yo? De un tiempo para acá que empecé a practicar esto, como que los miedos, este, surgen como, como te explicara, como más poderoso, más fuerte. O sea, se siente pues, y en ese momento, no sé si hay una lucha entre el hábito mental, las tendencias y de ver.
Se te corta, no sé si escuché completo.
Una, no sé si me explico.
Sí,
Y hoy lo oí que estaba tenso.
se te corta mucho la comunicación y pierdo mucho de lo que dices. Si no entiendo lo que dices, no puedo responder.
Ajá. Todo el día como que mi cuerpo empezó a estresarse, a temblar con miedo. Me di cuenta de que es un miedo a ser irresponsable. Y empecé a autoindagar y por rato se calmó, se me olvidó y de ahí vuelve a venir otra vez el miedo y a estresarse, a tener miedo por qué dirán de mí, de los clientes que van a venir y a cada rato estoy viendo a ver qué horas tocan o me llaman el teléfono, autoindago y se me quita. Como tú dices, no hay que hacerlo como aspirina. Autoindago y se me quita, pero mi pregunta es si está bien así, o sea, hay que hacer con las reacciones que me van, empiezan con miedo, o sea, con el cuerpo hay que dejarlo, hay que estar la emoción.
No, es todo el tiempo, ¿sí? O la mayor parte del tiempo. Puede que al principio no puedas hacerlo todo el día, ¿ok? Puede que tenés que
Sí.
sentarte un rato cuando no tienes nada que hacer y dirigir la atención hacia ti mismo, ¿no? ¿A quién le surge este miedo? A mí. ¿O de dónde surge? De mí. ¿Quién lo experimenta? Yo. ¿Quién tiene estos pensamientos? Yo. Y la idea es simplemente llevar la atención al yo que piensa, que experimenta, que siente, que ve todo eso. Y no dejar que
Sí.
te traiga lo que piensas,
Sí.
lo que sientes, lo que percibes. Y llega el momento en que la indagación o la autoatención o autoobservación se mezcla, ¿ok? Con tus actividades de la vida diaria. ¿Mm? ¿Me sigues?
Ujú.
La
Sí.
autoindagación puede que saque a la superficie tendencias que estén muy guardadas en el subconsciente, tendencias que ni siquiera sabías que existían. ¿Ok?
Ajá. Sí.
No te preocupes por ello. ¿Ok? No es nada malo ni estás cometiendo un error, ni estás haciendo la indagación mal. Lo que puede que suceda que tengas más pensamientos que antes o estados de ánimo que cambian bruscamente sin razón aparente o cualquier cantidad de fenómenos que pueden suceder. Sí, no importa, no importa lo que suceda, ¿ok? En la mente, en el cuerpo, lo que percibas a través de los sentidos. Lo importante es que mantengas la atención en el yo, que es consciente de todo eso.
Sí. Sí. Entonces, sí, de repente empieza uno a reflexionar, a analizar y de repente mi,
No, aquí en la indagación no hay espacio para reflexión.
me doy cuenta. Entonces solo es solo es mi, o sea, las ideas preconcebidas que siempre digo y me doy risa. Mi pregunta era es
Se te
ser
corta.
con o sea, con pensamientos, si estoy bien con la indagación o más.
En la indagación no hay espacio para análisis de los pensamientos, del por qué, ni cómo, ni cuándo, ni dónde. ¿Mm? Eso es la mente jugando consigo misma. ¿Me sigues?
Sí,
Todo eso que sientes es el resultado de
ajá,
pensamientos. La idea es ver de dónde surgen esos pensamientos de mí, de mantener la atención en ti mismo, que no es otra cosa que la fuente de cualquier fenómeno que surja.
Sí, sí,
Es importante que entiendas qué es la indagación,
sí.
cómo se indaga.
Ujú. Sí, según a mí se me hace más fácil hacerme la pregunta cuando surgen los pensamientos. O sea, por lógica es lógica que hay alguien que está pensando esos pensamientos. Yo siempre me hago la pregunta, a ver, ¿quién está pensando estos pensamientos? Porque hay alguien que está viendo o pensando más en silencio un rato. No sé si está bien.
La indagación no es la pregunta, no es preguntar, ver de dónde surge. ¿Quién piensa tus pensamientos? Tú. ¿Quién los ve? Tú, ¿cierto? No sé si me oye. No sé si me oye o yo no lo oigo. ¿Está ahí todavía o se fue? Creo que se le cayó, no sé si lo ven por allí.
Perdón, César, es Alvin. No lo veo, parece que se cayó su conexión.
La opción de internet no la tiene muy buena.
Sí.
A ver si aparece por ahí otra vez y levanta la mano. Did you manage?
Entonces, ya entró.
¿Entró?
Sí.
Are you setting it up?
First trying this iPad and pay for the app on the app that I told you about
And then you can transfer it to the TV or something.
for the app. The
Ah, you're doing that first.
so
It did, the card didn't work.
yeah. Probably it's not for sure, but probably in App Store you cannot pay with Face Bank. Probably it's not supported. You didn't give me the reason why if you want to just send me the payment methods, but it wasn't.
Okay, vamos a hacer el message from the bank.
You wouldn't get.
No, try to see. Paco, no sé si puedes levantar, si estás ahí otra vez, si puedes levantar la mano, no sé si quedaste satisfecho con la respuesta, si quieres decir algo más. No, perfecto. Tiene ya el micrófono abierto.
Sí, sí, mi duda era esa, que el miedo se quiere apoderar de uno, debido a la tensión que siente el cuerpo, pero a veces no hay que ponerle atención, solo hay que dirigir la atención al que está percibiendo esas sensaciones.
Correcto.
Sí, sí, como tú dices, pues que como es antes, me sentía mejor antes que hoy, dice, pero como que la autoindagación está surgiendo los efectos como tú dices, se abre la caja de Pandora.
Correcto.
Sí, pues gracias, esa era mi duda, mi,
A la orden. ¿A quién se le presentan estos fenómenos o experiencias, diferentemente de lo que sea? ¿Mm? Ya.
Hola, buenas noches. César, ¿se escucha? No puedo prender la cámara porque está medio mal la señal.
Ok.
Bueno, te quiero preguntar, César, si, si se puede decir que las tendencias son deseos.
Le podría decir predisposiciones, inclinaciones.
Ah, porque había, bueno, escuchado un vídeo que le decías a Ana de que, bueno, había una mala noticia y una buena. La mala noticia, así como que uno no sabe que va a salir de la caja de Pandora. Y la buena es que no hay que hacer nada, César, que no hay que hacer nada cuando salen, más que indagar sería.
Ver de dónde surgen, de dónde salen, a quién le surgen.
Sí. Mm. Hoy se cortaba mucho cuando estabas hablando con alguien, que lo voy a escuchar ahora el vídeo cuando lo suban, sobre eso de que le decías a alguien de hacer una pausa cuando surge, no sé, el deseo, la tendencia. Mm. No seguirlo.
Claro, si te distraes de ti mismo, la indagación sucede cuando hay
Sí,
distracción. Si no hay distracción, no es necesaria la indagación. ¿Quién estaría allí para indagar?
la distracción sucede cuando no está sucediendo la indagación, César,
Correcto.
dijiste.
Sí.
Bien.
La mente surge por
Sí.
inatención.
Mm. Bien. Bueno, esa era lo que te quería preguntar y después porque otra cosa que es que, bueno, a partir de estar haciendo, participando en el satsang, es como que ahora la vigilia antes se sentía muy, muy real. Con la indagación es como que se está percibiendo también como un sueño onírico, más o menos, te quiero decir, no tan como antes, tan pesado, sino como que es también la transitoriedad, como la de el sueño onírico que me despierto y digo, ah, fue un sueño. Y durante la vigilia estoy como percibiendo eso. Y me acordé de la historia del rey Hanaka y te quería preguntar, no preguntar, si recordabas algo de la historia, era que él tuvo un sueño y no sabía si era rey o si soñó que había sido un mendigo o al revés.
No, sí, él se vio en el sueño como un mendigo. Estaba mendigando comida.
Mm.
Unos ladrones que estaban por ahí se compadecieron de él y le dieron algo de comer y él se retiró a un pequeño bosque a tomar su alimento. Y mientras estaba tomando el alimento apareció un tigre y le saltó encima y ahí es cuando se despierta, aterrado por la experiencia de la aparición del tigre. Pero todavía se despierta con el miedo que tenía en el sueño. Y pienso, wow, parece que fuera tan real, todavía tengo miedo. Entonces se preguntó cuál de los dos estados es real. Si los dos parecen tan real, la vigilia y el sueño. Entonces hizo
mm,
un curso donde invitó a todos los sabios de la región para que le respondieran la pregunta, ¿cuál de los dos estados es real? Y ninguno pudo darle la respuesta. Todos le decían que ninguno de los dos era real, pero no le decían cuál era el estado real.
mm,
Hasta que llegó hasta abajo que le dijo que el estado real es el estado de testigo, es el testigo de los otros dos estados, es real.
mm.
Un poquito más hay ahí, pero no, por no entrar en detalle.
Sí, era claro, el testigo que es la conciencia, César, sería.
Perfecto.
mm, Me pasó algo, viste, César, mientras dormía que, bueno, porque por momentos como que caigo en el sueño profundo, me despierto así, como que sentía como que me desperté al, digamos, al yo de la vigilia y en ese intervalo sentí como que era algo que no me había pasado antes, de que es muy impermanente y que lo que estaba sucediendo iba a pasar, iba a pasar como pasó la infancia, la adolescencia, sí, sentí como esa ráfaga de la impermanencia, y, pero no me dio miedo o angustia como antes me provocaba. Eh, y nada, por eso te pregunté, porque antes no me pasaba así. En la vigilia la sentía como muy pesada, como que me aplastaba, como que la persona ocupaba todo el espacio, y ahora no, la persona se está como disminuyendo en la conciencia, un poco, pero aparecen las tendencias, ¿viste, César? Y como le dijiste la otra vez a Ana, que algo que un poco que sentí, al ego a veces le duele vivir por momentos, y, y entonces que uno no sabe que puede salir de la caja de Pandora, pero no es para dar miedo, porque si estoy en la indagación, sé que pase agradable o desagradable, es también la película.
Correcto. Es inseparable de la conciencia. Inseparable la película es inseparable de la pantalla.
Sí, eso es como que me cuesta entenderlo en el sentido, César, de que no hay separación entre la película y la pantalla, pero bueno, la película no puede suceder sin la pantalla, en cambio la pantalla no necesita de la película para nada, pero es como que lo que me confunde, César, es como que si el poder ilusorio es el que crea o proyecta la vigilia, que es mente, y, y uno, ¿cómo pararlo? Bueno, sí, se para, como dijiste vos, sacando el interruptor del ventilador para que solo siga funcionando lo que quedó, digamos, el karma ese que tiene un nombre, no sé cómo se dice, el que vino a hacer el cuerpo acá, pero para no seguir produciendo más, a eso me refiero.
No
Me confunde eso, que las tendencias parece que están en estado latente y que uno no tiene nada que ver, pero uno también genera la proyección, la mente, digo, el poder ilusorio.
El gusto y la aversión por la tendencia, porque
¿Cómo?
aceptas estas tendencias y rechazas estas otras tendencias. Eso las refuerza y genera más karma.
Sí, pero César, lo que no entiendo es, están en estado latente, pareciera que surgen de la conciencia, pero la conciencia no las fabrica, digamos, es el poder ilusorio de la mente o como dijiste, Shakti, Kundalini, eso que las está produciendo o proyectando, no es la conciencia,
No, es la mente.
es la mente, y por eso, y para que no se sigan
Ah,
ejecutando,
de clots. Perdón. Disculpa, sí.
sí, sí, para que no se sigan ejecutando, César, porque si están en estado latente pareciera que no tengo nada que ver, pero en esa latencia es la mente la que las está, digamos, manteniendo. Cuando decimos no sabemos qué va a salir de la caja de Pandora, pero un poco es la mente la que está abriendo esa caja de Pandora para que salgan las tendencias.
La mente es la caja de Pandora y el contenido en la caja de Pandora. Es la causa y el efecto.
Ah, mm, mm. Y eso solo, digamos, colapsa cuando está la mente quieta.
Se disuelven, sí.
Mm,
Se disuelven junto con la mente, con el aspecto sutil de la mente. ¿Mm? El yo,
bien.
el pensamiento yo.
Cuando el pensamiento yo se disuelve
Sí,
con todo. O sea, esa es la caja de Pandora.
correcto.
Bien.
La
Por
mente,
eso, César,
la mente,
perdón.
las tendencias son lo mismo.
Mm, ah, claro. La única, o sea, la mente y las tendencias es lo mismo. Eso no lo veía. Mm,
Correcto. Las tendencias,
por eso,
las tendencias sacan a la mente de la conciencia. Y llevar
mm,
a la conciencia hace que la mente se lleve las tendencias consigo.
mm. Por eso dice que es la mente práctica la que hay que usar, esa mente funcional, nada más, digamos.
Sí, pero, estamos brincando de un tema a otro.
Sí, porque veía eso que la mente práctica en este caso no lo usaba mucho, ahora se está como consolidando un poco más y callando más las tendencias, pero que veo que siguen apareciendo y está el impulso de seguirlas, pero bueno, ahí es como que las veo y indago. No indago todo el tiempo de la vigilia, pero estoy más atenta, antes no.
Correcto. Ver a quién le surge la tendencia. o de dónde surge.
mm, mm. Y esa sería, ahí no hay identificación. Si sigo ese paso de ver dónde surgen, ya no me identifico y queda quieta la mente.
Ah, dame un segundo, claro, disculpa, que tengo una cosa aquí.
Sí, 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 sí,
Disculpa, claro.
sí, gracias, César. No, que eso, que entonces al, al ver de dónde surge la tendencia, hace como ese giro, digamos, como que ahí no hay y no se produce la identificación que antes se producía y se actúa la tendencia. En cambio ahora con esa autoindagación es como que la descubre y se separa de la identificación, no hay identificación.
Correcto.
Bien, César, entonces me quedo con esto porque como que la caja de Pandora parecía como un miedo, ¿viste? Decir, ay, no sé qué va a salir, parece que va a salir el peor monstruo, ¿viste? Que puede salir y que me va a atacar a traición. No, soy yo la caja o sea, es la mente la caja de Pandora.
Y que salga lo que quiera de la caja de Pandora. No es real.
Ok, ok, bueno.
¿Y
Mm,
qué es lo que no es real? En este contexto todavía no es real, ¿sí?
mm.
Lo que ve no es real, lo visto no es real.
El que ve no es real y lo visto no es real. Bien, bien.
La mente se asusta. El problema es cuando la mente reacciona a los pensamientos. Es la mente reaccionando a la mente, ¿sí? Es la mente en contra de la mente en conflicto consigo misma. Es la identificación con estas tendencias o pensamientos o ideas o creencias, ¿ok? En conflicto con las otras. ¿Me
Sí,
sigue?
eso lo estoy observando. César. Sí, sí. Como decías, el propio contenido de la mente. Antes no me daba cuenta, había mucha identificación y mucha creencia así sobre el bien y el mal. Y eso se está observando que es un contenido, que es el contenido de la mente, pero la caja de Pandora como que le daba miedo a la mente. César decir, uy, puede salir, no sé, algo como que sentía, pero me lo aclaraste, claro, la caja de Pandora es la mente.
Y esa es otra tendencia,
Y
¿sí?
puede,
La mente reaccionando,
¿cómo?
la mente reaccionando a la mente es otra tendencia.
Ah, mm, entiendo. Bueno, es eso, César. Y voy a escuchar el video de hoy de la tarde porque se me caía el internet y quería seguirlo, todo lo que le decía sobre a una persona, sobre los santos, los pecadores, todas esas cosas que bueno, que la mente se identificaba antes con
Vamos,
el pecado, sentirse bueno o malo.
volviendo
Y,
un poco
y
atrás, volviendo un poco atrás. Es, la mente es un conglomerado de gustos y aversiones. La idea es no tener gusto o aversión por los gustos y aversiones.
mm,
No sé si me explico.
sí, 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 te explicas. Mm, sí. Bueno, me quedo con esa, César. Muy bueno. Gracias. Muchas gracias.
You can open your microphone, guys.
What's that?
Hi, how are you guys?
Hi, good. How are you?
Good.
Um, I want to say hello, and I just had a quick question about um, I guess, the world that we live in, and it can be very rajasic, and sometimes I've been working with more people who have special needs, and their mind is very active, but they can't seem to get themselves off the couch. So there's like a divide between the physical and the mental working together. And people get very perplexed and frustrated because their mind is so active,
Are you
but
using
their body is so inactive.
what equipment are you using? Do you have like a Sony like a funny sound, like an echo or something, and I cannot hear. I mean, I can hear you, but it's quite. Do you have a speaker or something, or a external microphone?
Quite bassy.
Yeah.
Is that better?
No, but I can try. Okay.
I just put it on the computer speaker. What's that like?
Say something else.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, go on. Let's see how it goes. Yeah.
We'll see if this works any better. How's that?
It's okay. Go on. Let's see.
That's okay. I guess like the basic question that I have is, if somebody is selfish and they're stuck in their mind, is it harder for them to actually move forward in their world because they're so stuck in their little world? And it creates a very rajasic or tamasic energy because they're not looking outside of themselves. I don't know how to say this properly, but that suffering can lead, or selfishness can lead to suffering.
Definitely. What I want to understand is what is the nature of the question. Is that person asking the question or you?
Yeah, like people, they see that they're suffering, but they don't know how to not.
They can't help it. Suffering sometimes is so natural that people enjoy it even. They don't bother because it's not. Everybody's stressed out. Everybody's worried, right? So what's the big deal, right? And this is me. This is how we are actually. See, this is our reality, our nature, right? And the fear and the anxiety and the rest of it. So suffering has to increase. So the question about why am I suffering? First, to know I'm suffering. Otherwise, there will be no question about how can I get rid of suffering. And then the person becomes a seeker, right?
Yes.
Seeking the way out of suffering, which is also suffering, right? It's a nightmare.
It is.
Spirituality is a nightmare. I'm suffering. I want to be out of suffering, and I will do something to be out of suffering. Suffering, Buddha was suffering, trying to find out the way out of suffering of a human being. Right? So when the suffering becomes unbearable, okay, the suffering that is created by looking for the way out of suffering, then in his divine compassion, consciousness appears in human form, right? As a guru, and says, now stop, right? Don't try anything, just be still.
But that's so hard for a lot of people. I've noticed they are so involved in their like I worked with this woman and she's been telling the same story to like 8 people every day. Like this person has a lot of support and the same story and gets super heightened and like running around and talking about the same thing. And then I sat her down and I said, it's like, how do you feel when you talk about this? She goes, I actually see myself talking about it and I don't like it, but I can't stop it. It's really like she said she stands at the door and watches herself
See,
talk about it.
the answer is in the question, and the question is, see, I see myself, but they don't know what is this I that sees the other self, that she calls myself, but because it's so fast and it's
Yes.
so engaged into the myself, lost in identity as this myself, this is me. So what to do?
Yeah. And I watch and I'm like, I feel like I'm watching this wild movie of this human who, because if you interrupt, it's like, don't interrupt me. I like my story.
Because they do so because they need to reinforce that identity
Right.
by repetition, right? It's a repetitive story. It's karma, a repetitive story. That's samsara, repetitive. The story gets repeated again and again and again. Some varieties here or there. I may add a little bit of blue painting and pink painting, but it's the same me, right? So I need to speak about me. See, the drama, me. I need to see, to reinforce that identity. This is what I am, and this is how I am. And then they are not willing or interested, even curious, to question, is that actually me?
Yeah.
Actually that, see. Or let me look at this me. What is it? What is its reality? See, what is it made of? See, it's a lady that says, I can see myself. If she can stop there and say, hold on, I and myself, right? Between the two, who am I? I can see that myself is seen, and the other one is what sees the other one, right?
Yes.
So if you could slow down for a second, they will see the reality, the illusion of this me. It's a mental construct. It's made out of thought. It is thought. This is I, and this is mine. I and this. I and the story of my life, or my condition, or whatever it is.
And this was me because I'm noticing the rumination of the past. Look how I used to be. I'm not that. This is me, but now I'm not that me.
No, but this is
That connection
that's
to the body.
well, all it is not about. Be careful because that is the me of the past, but this is the me in the present. Right? So this is a not me, right? This body identity, where I or me means categorically body. The sage referred himself or as himself, refers to himself as the body, but he doesn't identify himself with it. Otherwise, he will end either in jail or in a mental hospital. Right? He has to pretend to be normal, whatever that means. Right? Ramana Maharshi, when I came to Runachala in the year whatever, and then when I was in my house, right, but he was not identifying himself with his I, with the body. That's
Right.
so this is what we question, right? Who is this I? Or from where this I emerged? One of the two. From where this thought I, or from where this thought I am the body arose. If we really do so keenly, it collapses there and then. It cannot stand. So the I thought disappears, and there is another thought, another I, right? That is conscious or aware that remains. That is consciousness or awareness itself, knowing only itself, only aware of itself, nothing else but itself. This I is not a thought. It simply is. Any news from the this is self-awareness. Self-inquiry, self-awareness, self-realization is the same. Ramana says the path is the goal. Right? He said, when one is aware of oneself by the means of effort, we call it practice. When it is effortless and permanent, it's called realization. It is I as consciousness that becomes aware of I as consciousness. See? Reveals itself by itself, not by the practice of anybody. Right? To itself. Mhm.
I've been remembering what you say like throughout the day, and what was it? When you inquire, it dissolves the I, or it dissolves the ego. And that's been really interesting to remember what you say and then to inquire
Keep it simple.
and realize.
It's very simple.
Because it helps so much, that simplicity.
It's just, so to say, it's one step back. See? From thoughts to thinker. And then the thinker finds itself free from thoughts. Free from thoughts, it cannot survive. So, I am Caesar, I am the body, and apparently I, Caesar, is thinking these thoughts, is the seer of the thoughts and the seer of perception, right? Is the thinker and the perceiver, right? Of the perception and the thoughts. Right? And I think about this and I think about that, or I think about myself. See, is this I focus on itself? It keeps quiet. And then disappears. Means the thought I am the body disappears. Right? The I thought disappears, leaving as a residual the I consciousness.
It was really, I went on a little retreat and we were in the hall and I was getting annoyed by the people around me for some weird reason. Like they just kept moving around or going, and like just, I'm like, why can't they just sit still? And then I remembered you and I said, who is getting annoyed? And then it totally dissolved. It was the coolest thing. I'm like, that has just saved my life.
The annoyment disappears in the annoyed one. And then the annoyed one is no longer annoyed. It still is there. See? But this thought I, to merge for the first time in its source, it has to be fairly pure.
Right.
It has to be fairly pure. And it disappears. Because of the tendencies are not fully destroyed, the tendencies will bring it back.
Right.
So this has to go on until it disappears completely. Until body identity is gone permanently. And by all means, we shouldn't make consciousness a future object of experience. It's what we are. Very simple. See, if this is understood fully, deeply, correctly, it is super simple. Because to see consciousness is basically to be consciousness. So this is more about being than about doing. See, for me to know that I am, I must be conscious. See, there must be consciousness that I am. And for there to be consciousness, I must be. So being and consciousness are the same. It's being conscious of being consciousness. How do I know? Before there was no, the word consciousness was not used, was the word knowledge. Okay? The knowledge of being. Okay? Sat Chit was translated as being knowledge, which is the knowledge of being. Being, knowledge itself. Okay? There is a knowledge of the awakened state. There is the knowledge of the dream state. There is the knowledge of deep sleep. So I am that knowledge. So being that knowledge. See, where being is knowledge, right? So
So when they say Sat Chitananda, it's the knowledge of being blissful or something.
yes, where being or existence, right? Knowledge and bliss, which is silence more than happiness, are synonymous. They are not three. They exactly the same. Being, that is knowledge, that is bliss itself, right? So they come up with that concept.
So it's not the happiness, it's the stillness.
The knowledge of simply being, not the knowledge of being this or that, see, of being the body like this or like that, see, is to, all what is attached to the I am has to go. For I, and then other thought comes along. They don't reply. This is why it's called true knowledge. See, the knowledge of being is true knowledge. The knowledge of being this or that is ignorance. Learn ignorance. So if I want to get rid of the thought I am the body, I just have to see from where it arises. That thought I am the body is the mind as we know it. That's the subtle aspect of the mind thought. And all this is also mind, the gross aspect of the mind. So from where the thought arises? From me. See? Me whom? So it means I am the source of the mind. If the thoughts arises from me, who thinks I am the body? I. So I am the source of the thought. I am the source of the mind. On the other hand, we are told that consciousness is the source of the mind. So I must be already that consciousness source, right? So how do I know that I am that source? I just simply have to look at myself. What I know already as I or I am.
And we're the source of our own.
Hmm?
demise at times.
Sorry?
We're the source of our own demise or our own suffering
Yes.
if we're, yes.
Nobody can understand that, and there is no way that, because nobody can understand that, nobody can explain that. We can say that this is what happens. And to bring it to an end, the inquiry has to be done. Everything else is, forget it, it's just made up. We are the self, and then we arise as egos. Even the ideas of cause and effects. When we know what the truth is, all these concepts are no longer interesting. You just want to simply be, remain, to remain as you are. Simple, keep it simple.
Yeah, it's quite amazing.
Because I believe to be the mind, then I as the mind am looking to something else or looking for something else called consciousness. But when I as the mind look for consciousness, or the mind looks for its source, it disappears in what it's looking for. There is actually.
Yes, I understand.
So I as the ego begin the inquiry about consciousness. In doing so, I as the ego disappear in consciousness, and I remain as consciousness. I am Caesar, right? I am the body, that's the mind. That's the ego, that's the individual, that's the person, right? And I want to experience consciousness. This is the absurdity of the seeker due to his ignorance, right, and misunderstanding, that then he will have experience of consciousness and expansion of consciousness, all this rubbish, right?
But that's just what we are.
Yes.
So we couldn't experience it because that's what we are.
Do not experience yourself. You only can be, you said, to experience yourself is to know yourself as you are. You cannot even see yourself. You only can be yourself. It's like your eyes. You cannot see your eyes, can you? No. Can you deny the existence of your eyes only because you cannot see them? No. Right?
I remember having a conversation with my friends when I was a teenager, and I said, we can't see our eyes. The only way to see your eye is to take your eye out and look at yourself. But then could you see yourself looking at your own eye? It was very strange. But as a kid, you don't have these blocks like you do when you're an adult. Like you're just a bit more I don't know, expansive or connected. I'm not sure. But yeah, I remember having those strange thoughts like life was a movie, like none of this is real. I remember feeling that way when I was young. And then you get institutionalized by life, essentially, is what it feels like.
Now, if you want to see your eyes, what do you need?
A mirror.
Exactly. This is why it's so difficult to know oneself in deep sleep.
Mm.
See, I can't see myself, or I cannot know myself in deep sleep, but I cannot deny that I exist in deep sleep. See, I can't see my eyes, okay, with my eyes, but I cannot deny the existence of, I cannot see my eyes, but I cannot deny the existence of my eyes. So I means seeing, right? Consciousness, see? Synonymous of consciousness. So in the awakened state, right, there can be the knowledge of being consciousness, the knowledge of being. So all this, the illusion is a mirror, right, that allows me to know that I am. Not that I am. That no, it's not that allows me to exist, to be, right? Or somehow I can know that I am in the awakened state. Now, when the ego is gone, right, then you know what you are 24/7. It doesn't matter in what state the mind is, awakened state, dream state, or even deep sleep. You remain awake to yourself. And asleep, sorry, to everything else.
Mm. Mhm.
This is, I said, this mistake that consciousness appears in the awakening is the consciousness arises. What consciousness are we talking about? Right. The rope and the snake. Right?
Mhm.
The snake is the rope. Somehow. It appears,
Right.
it appears to be a snake, but it really is a rope, right?
Yes.
So the snake is the mind. The mind is the, see, I appear to be the snake, the ego. But I am really the rope, consciousness.
Mm.
I am consciousness, but I appear as the mind. Why? Then Ramana answered beautifully, and everybody freaks out because of the lack of inquiry. Not, it doesn't give you a reason, right? Exactly. Why? Because of lack of inquiry. So know yourself to be that and forget about any explanations or theory of why, reason, when, how, uh, purposes or meaning of any of that stuff. Or this is mind, or this is thought.
Because that's an ego drive to know all the steps of the processes of how or why.
The ego appears as a knower. And he wants to know, right?
Yes, very much.
Why he wants to know? Because without knowledge, he cannot survive. Because mine is I and this, the knower and the known, the subject and the object, I and you, I and this, I and that, I and mine, right? So if the I remains without known, if the subject remains without the object, the seer without the seen, can't stand. They exist together, right? Now, who is the seer? I. See? Cesar, body. See, I am the body, I am the seer. As soon as it is body identity, but when you wake up in the morning, you dramatize a little bit. I woke up and automatically everything is there. See, I,
Yes. Yeah.
and everything else, right? Who is this I? Or from where this I emerged? And it disappears like magically. It's like magic. It's like a water bubble. Pop. Like a water bubble that merges in the water. Right? Like the mind merges in the surface. The water bubble arose from the ocean. But it is the ocean. It appears to be a separate bubble of water. See, a separate water, see? In the ocean, moving in the ocean. Separate individual bubbles of water. When they pop. Yeah, exactly. When they pop, right?
They dissolve back into the ocean. Thank you. I like that. That's wonderful.
So don't bother too much about if the people are suffering or not suffering. That's none of our business.
Okay.
Basically,
Yeah, that's very true. Because when I was watching it, I just sat and watched. And I was like, because normally I would try to fight it and help the person. But the last few times I've dealt with challenging people, I would just watch them or listen. And that's it.
now remember the story of the donkey and the water tank.
What? The donkey in the water tank.
Yes. And the water pond with nectar, divine water. You can force a donkey even to go to the water tank, but you will never force a donkey to drink the water.
Yes.
If he's really thirsty.
You can push him in, but he won't drink.
You maybe had a sip of it and say, oh my God, this is divine nectar. And then you go and talk to the donkey. See? Say, bro, you have to try this. They say, I'm not interested in your divine water. I am happy with my Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Man, you have to try this, I'm telling you. Say, sister, I told you, leave it, right? Leave it alone. Leave me alone. See, come on. There, right? That's it. Then you say, I have to bring this guy there, right? And you tie a rope around the neck of the donkey and you drag the donkey to the water tank, right? And on the way, the donkey says, "God, come on, man, I'm telling you, right? Leave it." And when you get there, it says, "I'm not interested in your word that I told you." And then you tie the donkey, see, close to the water tank. So the head is just here, right? Say, come on, have a sip. Right? I told you, see, leave me alone with my Coca-Cola, right? I mean, with whatever it is, something else, right? And you come up with a brilliant idea. You sit on the head of the donkey, right? So the mouth of the donkey enters the water. The ears are still outside, and you say, "Hey, come on, man, open your mouth." And the donkey says, right? And you say, "Come on." And then you will try to open the mouth of the donkey. The donkey will bite you. I'm telling you, it will, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
When the donkey is thirsty, the donkey will come by itself. There is plenty of water. Water will never come to an end. See, it's beginningless, endless. This is why gurus are not looking for anybody to. The guru is a water tank itself. When somebody is thirsty, let them come. I don't see any pond running around trying to satisfy people's thirst. I see people running around looking for a water pond to satisfy their thirst.
It could be funny though.
So don't be running around water pond.
Next time I try to help someone, I'm going to visualize myself as a water.
Doesn't work.
Oh, that's really good. Oh, oh, tiger.
Huh? Tiger.
Tiger. What kind of cat is that? It's really pretty.
Oh no, it's a street cat. It's just been
Oh, really?
a rescue cat.
Did your cat find you?
No, actually, Nasya found it in the street. It was like a tiny, it looked like a mouse. It was hairless.
Oh,
They were looking for mom and sister. That was election day. And I was at home because I was part of the people that work in the election tables.
like doing the poll.
Yeah, whatever. Then I came home and I was resting and they said, and I said, no cats. Please, please. And the cat stay at home and it turns to be a super wonderful creature.
Oh, that's great.
Naughty as hell, but it's a wonderful thing, yeah. And it gets along with the dog like, see, it's like the dog adopted the cat. So they keep on around the whole day and it's very funny because it's a male cat and I don't want to castrate him. I say just, oh my God, no, why? Just for the sake of having something in your house, then you're gonna know, man. And apparently already he's an adult and he's not marking the territory, he just goes to the toilet. And I say, I hope Just for your own sake, stop, keep on doing that.
Yes, we don't want to have to.
Say, Nancy, you're going to do that, you go by yourself. I don't want to be part of that. Don't bring me to nothing. I don't want to be there.
No. Wow.
Not painful. It's not about the pain. I mean, hello. Right?
But it's about the process.
Yeah. So, but because if you don't do that, they remain wild. When you do that, they become like more calm. This one is just like a spring, you know. It's ping, 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 ping. So I will rather promise that somehow you're walking and he just come behind you, you know, jump on you and bite you. Because that's cat stuff. That's how they play, you know. They tease
Yep.
you. You're walking, you don't notice it, and he just comes from behind and jump and bites you, and then let you go, right?
Oh, right.
Well, I would rather have a bite and a scratch than having, you know, having castrated.
Mm.
It's huge. It's a big cat, and apparently it's going to grow even more.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
How long have you had that?
20 from July.
Oh, oh, wow. So not long.
Yeah, the other day a veterinary came and said this is gonna be it's gonna grow bigger because the tail or something, I don't know.
So it is a tiger.
Super cool.
That is cool. Cats are funny creatures.
Like a cute bully. It was like,
Yeah. Just waiting for something to attack.
but then it is just a
Oh,
bipolar cat. So what else, guys?
do you have anything?
Now leave the donkeys alone. Let them run freely.
Yeah, I realized that recently. It's like just people will do what they do.
You may feel empathy or pity or sorry for them. What to do? It's like you're in a
It's
pharmacy.
too much harder.
You see all this
Mm.
around. It's nobody comes. The medicine is there. Nobody comes. What can I do? You feel sorry for them, right? Say, oh Jesus. But the sage knows that the longing for liberation must be there. Otherwise, that certain amount of dispassion must be already there in the seeker, right? So the seeker must be already semi-awake, right? He's suffering and no longer interested in any of this, right? And hopefully not even interested in knowledge, but self-knowledge, which is very rare. Even the spiritual people, say they're suffering from a spiritual ego. They don't even know it.
Yes.
Are in conflict with material people, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
That's a conflict between good and evil, right? The good aspect of the mind in conflict with the bad aspect of the mind is a conflict of ideas, right? Who is material? I. Who is spiritual? I. See, the answer is the same. And that is the inner battle, right? It's a fight between thoughts. One tries to control the other one's trying to impose on the others, right? Liking this one, disliking that one, right? I see my thoughts and my behaviors and my predisposition. Or no, I don't like that. I don't want that. These ones, but these ones are still are there. You can look elsewhere, but still they are there, right? Right? I can go to the toilet and look elsewhere, but it still is there. See, so not going anywhere. So all that is there because the I is there. And believe it or not, that suffering keeps the I alive.
Yes. You see people thrive in it. It's very interesting.
So good thoughts, bad thoughts, right? Who, who, who sees them? I. So the I ignores its own thoughts, but paying attention only to itself. Right? So the inquiry also purifies the mind. It's everything is contained in the inquiry. Everything. If the mind is pure, the attention goes to I quickly, right? Because the seeker is not interested in anything else in the world, is not interested in knowledge, right? So the attention can be held on the thought I easier. And as soon as the attention goes on the thought I cannot stand. If the attention goes on the seer disappears. Now, if I still have too many tendencies or thoughts or predispositions or whatever, then the attention to the thought I will purify the mind, which is the thought I. And when it is fairly pure, and then it will collapse by itself. It will be a power, so to speak, will arise, okay, and pull it, see, to consciousness, to its source. So the very power that brought the ego into existence will pull it back, right? Brahma brought it into existence. Vishnu kept it for some time. And Shiva comes and swallows, brings it back. But the absolute is beyond this trinity, Brahman. See? These are the three aspects of the so-called divine energy, the energy that manifests all this, the undifferentiated energy that creates, sustains, and destroys. Right? Not only form, but the ego also. Everything is contained in this self-awareness. I look at myself as the ego because I don't know better, right? I don't know myself as I am. And I as the ego cannot see myself as consciousness. So I look at myself, and the myself that I'm looking at disappears. This is the meaning. If you see the mind disappears. People misunderstanding, seeing the mind, the thoughts. In reality, it's the thinker, what you see, right?
Yes.
And then people go for the rest of the life witnessing thoughts. I'm just the witness of the thoughts. And this is the ego witnessing, right?
Yes. So it's to witness the witnesser, witnessing.
Witness, correct. Hey, or you surrender because you believe you are the ego, you surrender. You know what? I cannot even dissolve myself. There is a power that has to take me down. And it will not take me down until I surrender. Means until I give up all my efforts to dissolve myself in, to be absorbed, to keep quiet. See, this is the meaning of bowing, right? You offer yourself, see, in sacrifice, not something for yourself. What is that? You keep your mind, you remain still, mentally still. When you inquire what happened with the mind, it keeps itself still, right? The rest is a matter of grace. See? The mind can go so far. Mhm. Okay,
Thank you.
we'll see you when I see you might.
Mañana.
See ya mañana. Okay,
All right.
Thanks, Cesar.
Thank you.
okay, hasta mañana.
Hasta mañana.
Esteban, y los demás también. Listo. ¿Cuánta gente hay hoy aquí?